¿Qué rollo con el pollo? It's me, back at it again. I'm back. It's been a long time, but we're back in the studio, finally, after a long time. Real quick before we get started, I want to say a huge shout out to our sponsor, or the person that sponsored this video, 7 Gremlins. I'll leave all their information in right here. So you guys go check them out. If you guys need hats, shirts, mugs, anything with a logo or something funny you guys want to prank your family members or friends, yeah, go check them out. Their stuff will be right here. And on today's episode, episodio, we have someone very, very talented, very, I could say very inspirational, but I want to bring to you guys Deyvid Morales.
Deyvid Morales.
Yeah.
Hola, mucho gusto y gracias por tenerme aquí en este podcast.
Of course. Es el primero for like a couple months now que ya va a ser el primero that we do again.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'm glad I'm here.
All right, how are you feeling? You nervous?
No, I'm not nervous about the podcast, but I was mentioning it a couple minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
I think doing this sport, and we'll talk about the sport, but I think doing the sport, it really messes up your body in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The G-forces that we experience every day is pretty insane. And plus the bruises and the crashes and your stomach and your head, like bumping your head at 80 miles an hour, concussions and all that good stuff. Dang. So we can talk about that. So I'm not nervous, but my body is feeling.
You're just like,
un
poquito,
pero no, it's not bad. It's like me gusta, and I feel like that's why I do this sport, porque me gusta, like todo lo bueno y todo lo malo que viene, pero definitely it takes a toll.
All right, so Deyvid Morales, you're talking about a sport. Hay que decirle a la gente what you do.
Yes.
Let's
okay.
Get right into that.
Sale. Este deporte no es muy conocido. De hecho, mucha gente no sabe que existe.
Mm-hmm.
Y es un deporte relativamente nuevo. Tiene 20 años, como 20 algo años, que apenas lo introducieron otra vez. Este deporte de hecho se inventó hace 100 años, pero no era un deporte olímpico y nadie lo practicaba porque la pista tiene que ser muy específica. Tienen que ser pistas de hielo, de arriba de la montaña hacia abajo de la montaña. Son curvas específicas. Tienen que tener varios requisitos para poder practicar este deporte. Y se introdujo otra vez este deporte que se llama skeleton o esqueleto.
Uh-huh.
Yo siempre le digo skeleton, pero para la raza es esqueleto. Y se introdujo en las Olimpiadas de aquí de Salt Lake City del 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Y desde ese entonces ya hay competencias todos los años. Yo ahorita estoy representando orgullosamente a México y estoy juntando los puntuajes para calificar a las siguientes Olimpiadas que serán en Italia en el 2026.
Oh, sí, ya mero.
Ya mero. Faltan menos de 365 días para que se llegue a cabo. Empieza la segunda semana de febrero del 2026, o quedan 11 meses.
Ya estás ahí.
Sí, ya están encima.
Wow. Hay que preguntar, ¿de dónde eres? Eres mexicano, obviously, pero ¿de qué parte?
Sí, yo nací en Acapulco, Guerrero, México.
Okay.
Nací en el 91, so I'm 33 years old.
Okay.
Y nací en Acapulco, pero yo de hecho crecí en Ecatepec, Estado de México, hasta los 9 años, y después de ahí nos venimos a emigrar hacia Utah. Yo crecí aquí en Utah desde los 9 años, ahorita tengo 33, o más de 20... I suck at math, pero 20 plus years.
20 plus years, right?
En Utah's home, y por eso, cuando llegué aquí, vi las Olimpiadas,
uh-huh.
porque yo llegué en el 2001, y las Olimpiadas fueron al siguiente año, el 2002. Pero nunca, no voy a decir que yo fui como la mayoría de las personas que vieron las Olimpiadas y soñaron en ser olímpicos. Nah, that wasn't me.
You weren't sitting at home watching it's going to be me one day.
Yeah, no, that was not me.
Okay.
They took us I was in Monroe Elementary, and they took us across the street, and they had the Olympic torch,
mm-hmm.
doing the little tours around the city. So I was able to see that, but I was not impressed, I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay. So I never grew up thinking that I wanted to be an Olympian or anything like that. I think it's mainly that I went through a lot of stuff in my life that that challenged me, that showed me that it's possible to achieve such crazy dreams. And I think that's what motivated me to do this sport. And just knowing that there's no Mexicans in this sport. And I think that's crazy. So part of my goal is to not only represent my country in this Olympic sport and make it to the Olympics, but I also want to eventually have recruit other talents, other kids, teenagers, adults to represent Mexico in winter sports. Porque México pues es muy chingón para el fútbol,
Para los boxeadores.
béisbol.
Béisbol, para béisbol
Like, yeah,
también.
somos muy chingones. Pero hay otros deportes que no están tan...
Ya como que no se han
ahí.
metido, like, they haven't, you know, like, walked or opened that door. No han abierto esa puerta todo. Y como quien dice, le quieres dar ese,
Sí, ese espacio.
like...
Yeah. So quiero ser el primero en ganar medallas para México en ese deporte porque todavía no hay ningún mexicano que haya ganado una medalla en ese deporte. Y no solamente ser el primero, pero abrir la puerta para que las futuras generaciones puedan ver de que sí se puede y que ellos también pueden participar en esos deportes que usualmente la gente... pues yo crecí aquí, ¿no? Mi familia trabajó en varios trabajos, ya sabes, en restaurantes, en varias cosas que somos esenciales como inmigrantes. Y nunca tuvimos como esa oportunidad de que mis papás...
Like te dijeran, like,
yeah,
I
like,
got a
let's go
business," or,
skiing, you know?
Yeah, let's go do
like,
it.
yeah, we don't say that. You know, as Mexicans, we don't say like, oh, let's go snowboarding this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's something that we got to change. Somos, muchos mexicanos aquí en el estado de Utah, no solamente en Utah, pero en Estados Unidos somos más de 50 millones de mexicanos. Y que yo sea el único mexicano en el deporte de invierno, it doesn't add up.
It's impressive. I couldn't find the word in Spanish, but it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, ¿quién más? ¿O quién lo
Sí.
está haciendo? You know what I mean? Like, nadie más lo está haciendo así.
Sí, y yo creo que ahí es una gran manera para poder romper esa barrera y cambiar que los mexicanos no solamente jugamos fútbol, que no solamente somos grandes boxeadores o beisbolistas, pero que también le podemos entrar a los deportes de invierno y estar ahí representando en las montañas más frías y altas del mundo.
No, y sí, qué chido. Imagínate un Sean White, pero mexicano.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
be
And
cool.
he's out there, or she's out there.
Yeah.
So we
they're
just
out there
got to find them and let them know that that's possible, you know?
Yeah. Don't be scared of the snow.
Yeah.
Like, pues ya ves, ice. No le tengas miedo.
Yeah. There's a lot of jokes that que se me vienen a la mente.
I know, me too, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold back real quick. Una pregunta para ti.
Sí.
Like, how did you get into that specific sport? Like, ¿cómo fue tu aventura allí que tú dijiste, sabes qué? It's a sled, the bobsled? No, skeleton. Skeleton. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés?
Skeleton.
Skeleton? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Skeleton. Sorry.
¡Ay, qué bruto, focalicero!
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, ¿cómo pasó todo eso de skeleton? Like, why that one?
Yeah, I think it's because I went through a lot of stuff in my life. I have faced deportation 4 times, and I've won them all. Wow. I have. There was this is kind of like the background story of why I got into it.
Let the people know, like, what.
Well, what happened?
This is your platform, bro.
Thank you, appreciate that. So I started when I grew up here in Utah, and everything was normal. You grew up as a Utahn.
Yeah,
you know, todo normal. Yeah, and then I wanted to go to a college in the state of Louisiana, and I thought that because I was an immigrant, I couldn't fly on an airplane, which is not true. But I thought that was the deal. So I took a Greyhound bus from Utah to Louisiana, and it was horrible. It was 4 days long. The whole state of Texas took like a day and a half.
Dang.
Yeah, it was bad. And when I was 45 minutes away from the college that I thought I was going to study for the next 2 years, Border Patrol got inside my bus. We were not even at a checkpoint. We were, Louisiana is away from the Mexican border.
Yeah.
And we stopped at a gas station next to a McDonald's, and Border Patrol jumped in. and they asked us for our citizenship status, and I was honest because I didn't know my rights. I didn't know I had the right to remain silent, ask for an attorney, all that good stuff. And I told them I was from Mexico. Les conté toda mi vida. I was like, que me gusta el chocolate, like I told them everything.
Las mangoneadas.
Yeah.
Todo ese pedo,
Yeah, todo. And they were like, we like you, but we're still going to take you. So I lost my luggage. I lost everything, and they arrested me, and I was in a Louisiana immigration detention center for 17 days until my family paid $4,000 of bail. And that's how I was able to get out. And then they tried deporting me in Louisiana, but because my family paid bail, I was able to get out. And then I came back to Utah on a plane. And then I was in house arrest for a year and 3 months while my deportation process was going on.
I have a quick question with that. Like,
Yeah.
So they don't take you like right away, like como quien dice, like te agarran, and they don't deport you right away?
They could. They tried. But immigration laws back then in 2010, 11 were a lot different than they are 2025.
Yeah.
So back then they can hold you, and if you were able to pay bail, then you were able to get out and fight your case outside of the detention center. If you didn't have anyone to bail you out, you just have to go through it inside the detention center. So that's what happened. And during that year and 3 months, I was able to. They placed me under like I didn't have the ankle bracelet, but I couldn't leave the state. I couldn't work. They would come into my house to make sure I live in my house. They had like a phone, like a landline phone.
Oh yeah,
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
And I had to answer whenever they called and make sure that I was home. I couldn't, leave the state and all these other things. So it was kind of like a very
strict, and like they were really keeping an eye on you. No te vas a ir porque no te vas a ir.
Yeah, and I couldn't leave my house because they could call anytime, and if I didn't answer when they called, they could arrest me and put me back in detention centers.
And then have to do the whole process all over again.
Yeah. So it was really hard. And then during that time, I was like, what, I was stressed out. I was, thinking that this is it. And then that's when I started learning about my immigration rights, about what to do if, you encounter law enforcement, federal enforcement, police, local, whatever. And then during that time, there was an anti-immigration law called HB 497 here in the state of Utah. And Governor Herbert back then signed it. And he said that police officers could pull you over for no reason at all. No criminal activity. They could just pull you over if they had the suspicion that you were not an American.
Okay.
And that was, messed up. So I contacted the ACLU. And then we worked on, that law became a law. Like they signed it, passed the, bills, they signed it. And it was only in effect for 12 hours because we put a lawsuit against it. And they were able to use my story as one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. And after 2 years of fighting in federal court, they realized that what happened to me could happen to someone else. That you could be on your way to college, or in your way, like, let's say you're an 18-year-old high school student.
Yeah.
You're driving and you look Hispanic and you get pulled over by a police officer. And just because you're an immigrant, you're deported. And so that goes against, that's racial profiling, first of all. That's against your constitutional rights of freedom to travel. And it just wouldn't make sense to do that in the state. So we were able to win in court. And that law only went into effect for 12 hours. And we were never... there was only 3 people affected by it, and we were able to help them as well. So we were, just winning that victory, it made me realize that I could use my story to inspire others and help fight, laws that don't make any sense and they're just hurting people. And right now, I thought that was it. I thought, we're never going to have an anti-immigration bill in the state of Utah. And then here we are now, so it is kind of personal porque me afectó a mí personalmente, a mi familia, pero ahorita está afectando a muchas familias toda esta situación de racismo y antimigrante, So that happened. And then I won my deportation cases, and I started making immigration apps, like mobile apps, to let people know their rights. I did a lot of videos online before TikTok and Vine.
Yeah. What was it back then? Like Musically or like Instagram or like
Yeah, it's just anywhere.
OG, yeah.
So anywhere, just mainly Facebook was the main one, and I did a lot of content to inform people of their rights and give them resources, and we're still here doing it. We're still here. On the 29th, we're about to have an event for la comunidad para que conozcan sus derechos y tener abogados de inmigración y otros tipos de recursos para que la gente truchas y sepa qué hacer en esos momentos y no dejen que nada más porque te arrestaron, just like darte por vencido. Puede ser que te arresten, pero también puedes pelear tu caso.
Yeah.
Y aún si te dan una orden de deportación, puedes apelar el caso. Hay muchas maneras de poder confrontar esa situación, pero hay que tener las herramientas y el conocimiento. Porque, por ejemplo, a mí cuando me arrestaron, pues yo les conté toda mi vida y qué me gustaba y qué no, porque yo no sabía que eran mis derechos. Yo tomé el autobús porque yo no sabía que tenía el derecho de viajar en avión con mi pasaporte mexicano. Y son muchas cosas que en la vida me han pasado y pueden ser evitadas si yo tuviera esta información. Entonces, no quiero que lo que me pasó a mí le pase a alguien más y por eso estamos luchando contra estas situaciones y haciendo estos tipos de eventos y contenido para que la gente sepa qué hacer, qué no hacer y cómo defenderse.
Ya, porque ahorita sí la gente está muy asustada.
Sí.
Entonces, todo lo está sintiendo, like, hasta tengo familiares que ya están bien aquí y todavía tienen miedo igual.
Sí.
So, like,
sí.
I get it, like,
Sí,
I never seen that. Like, growing up, like, nunca había, like, racismo así. Hasta que sí me pasó una vez. I'm like, oh, like, what? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked. I was like, there's no way that this is happening to me right now.
Yeah.
And then it's just little things like that. Like, pero también, like, yo siempre sabía, porque, like, sí me juntaba con mucho americano. Y me decían, no, dude, like, you can't, like, don't answer to them. Like, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just, like, they were teaching me the way. So I would go back y le decía a mi mamá, hey, ¿sabes qué? Like, si esto pasa, because she would be scared at that time. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, like, what if this happens? I'm like, no, like, just...
You're like, mamá, el Kyle me dijo que no.
Yeah, el Kyle. Kyle me dijo
No,
que no.
I get it.
Que los mandara a la chingada.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never seen that until one day it happened. I was like, well, like, what's all this? I was shocked. I was like, is he really talking to me about that? But está bien que vayan a ese evento porque sí va a haber muchos recursos. Vamos a dejar una foto aquí para que vean y en nuestro social media también para que vayan.
Sí.
Te iba a preguntar... ¿qué te iba a preguntar? Te iba a preguntar algo. Dice, me pasó. Pero cuando pasó todo eso de la inmigración y todo eso, like, ahorita, like, haciendo lo que está haciendo with the Olympics, do you see any backlash? Like, you know what I mean? Like in that sport? Because obviously there's not a lot of, like, Latinos y Mexicanos en ese deporte. Like, ¿sí ves, like, como tipo racismo ahí?
No, yo creo que, like, if we ever clash en el deporte, yo creo que es más porque somos competitive.
Okay.
So far, I have not met any racist or racism in the sport. A pesar de que sí soy el único mexicano ahí, hay personas, por ejemplo, está mi amiga Laura, que es de Colombia. También hay de Puerto Rico, representando a Puerto Rico, aunque Puerto Rico es parte de Estados Unidos y,
sí,
all that good stuff. Pero representa a Puerto Rico. La persona que me invitó a este deporte y fue la persona que, ya llegando a la pregunta que tenías, ¿cómo llegué al deporte? Se llama Kwasi Frimpong y él es de Ghana, África. Y él es el único de Ghana que está también representando a su país. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was badass,
Yeah.
Because you don't see people of color in Olympics winter sports.
Yeah, in the winter sports for sure you don't, like.
Yeah, so seeing him really inspired me, and I thought it was a cool sport, and I think like winning against immigration, winning against the state of Utah, We also did a campaign against Greyhound buses because they were allowing border patrol, and we won that lawsuit against Greyhound. So just winning a lot of lawsuits and a lot of campaigns. Everything that I'm setting my mind to, I keep on winning. And I think once you win, you get addicted to it. Mm-hmm. You want to get more, like you have one car, you want to get two cars.
Yeah.
If you have one house, you want to get two houses.
And you want to get into Airbnbs and all this stuff.
Yeah, you grow it, and I think that's beautiful. So I wanted to challenge myself, and eventually I won my residency. I got married, and then I was able to apply for my green card, and then I was able to stay. And then that's when my mind opened up, because as an undocumented immigrant, you don't think I'm going to travel the world,
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah,
you can't.
Even right now with like my mom,
yeah,
like nomás a Mexico quiere ir.
Sí.
And like she tells me it's not like that I don't want to go see other places, pero es que like es su tierra natal. Like, that's where she feels at home. So I get that, pero sí, like hay mucho Latino que decía like, no, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we need to kind of help it, like the community out and be like, no, you guys can.
Yeah.
Sí se puede.
Sí. Pero como indocumentado, cuando no tenía papeles, like my green card, pues no podía soñar en viajar el mundo, Estamos en la jaula de oro, como dicen aquí. Y ya cuando tuve mi residencia, ya me puse a pensar qué más puedo hacer, no solamente para representar a mi país, pero para challenge myself to grow as a person. And I thought this sport was cool porque like summer sports, you have to like be a 2-year-old and be tumbling and be 3-year-old and be swimming. Like summer sports are very competitive if you're young. But winter sports, a lot of people get into them when they're in their late teens or 20s because it's a whole different mentality that you have to have. It's a whole different skill, and your body has to be kind of like fully developed in a sense. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think this sport, it's mainly mental. I feel like physically a lot of people could do it, but I don't think mentally a lot of people can. I think it takes a lot of your mental state to be mature enough to handle an Olympic sport like this. So a lot of the athletes start when they're 20. And so when I got my green card, I was 25, 26. And that's when I was like, oh, I could do this. Not only am I going to represent my country because I love, being there for my people and my people being there for me, pero también I'm going to challenge myself and grow as a person and grow mentally and physically and spiritually and all the leads, So I thought this was a good sport. So I contacted a lot of athletes because a lot of Olympians live here in the Valley.
Yeah.
Like we go train to Park City and we drive, 20 minutes to Park City and then we train and come back because Park City is quite expensive. So a lot of Olympians live in the Valley, and I contacted a couple of them, and only one of them answered me, which was Akwasi. Akwasi answered me, and I was like, hey, I'm really interested in the sport. And, I gave him the whole...
the spiel, pues.
Y and I didn't think, they had already rejected me a lot, a lot of Olympians left me on red. And I was like, oh, maybe they're, this is, I don't know, maybe just give it a shot, give it a shot. And he answered me, and we went to Beans and Brews, and we had some coffee, and he told me about the sport, and he told me how to get into it and who to contact, and cuándo, dónde, y con quién. And I did, my part, and I fundraised, and I paid a lot of my stuff on my own, and I got into the sport like that. So you have to do, they have classes for skeleton, this sport. They have classes at the Olympic Park. They also have classes for skiing and snowboarding and all that, and all the sports. The Olympic Park is really good. Like the Utah Olympic Park is real good at teaching people the sport. So there's classes, and you just have to look them up online and get into them. Pay the fee and then show up and endure. So I was able to do this sport for about 2 years. Y después de 2 años fue que pude contactarme con alguien de México, porque yo les decía, escribí mucho al Comité Olímpico Mexicano, a otros facilities, y les dije que quería representar a México en el deporte. Igual todos me ignoraban, you know, like nunca me respondían mis emails.
Nunca te veían, like, nunca te daban la
Yeah.
luz. They'd be like, oh, this guy, like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, Mexican in the snow, in the
Yeah.
ice, you know. Like, so it was pretty depressing in a sense to not have your support of your country, and I still don't, in a sense. Porque even though I've been representing Mexico for the last 3 years now, they have not helped me financially once. Not once have they helped me out, even booking my Airbnb or sending me para el cafecito or nothing.
Even the Cheeto bag. Huh?
Nada. So I've been able to do this sport thanks to my sponsors and people in the community that have been, you know, believing in me and helping me out. And I've been able to do this thanks to, you know, all of them and my family and my friends and people that donate to my Venmo account and GoFundMe and all that stuff. So it is pretty hard to do this sport on your own without the financial help of your country. Pero igual, no me doy por vencido, no me agüito. Y hay que darle para adelante, you know?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, si llegas con oro, they're going to be like, oh, crap, like, nunca le respondíamos, we should have done that. And then ya vas a estar en otro nivel. You'll be like, now you get to decide, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
but
true.
then again, like, you're still opening up that legacy para, like, the younger generation. Because they'll be like, oh, man, like, this guy did it, like, with nothing. So
Yeah.
let's back up the next generation so we can help them out and be better.
Yeah, and that's the goal, to do this sport, representar y jalar más jovencitos, más chavitos, you know, para que también representen a México y cambiar esa mentalidad que nada más venimos a trabajar y venimos a you know, a servir platos y lavar baños, like, you know, like, fuck that. Like, we should do more than that. We should have crazy dreams and like, you know, like, to have no limit, porque like los mexicanos somos chingones and we shouldn't limit ourselves to what other people's mentality of us should be. We should be able to have crazy wild dreams and do everything that everybody else is capable of, you know?
Yeah, because it's endless. Like, I saw a quote one time said, like, the only person stopping you is you. Like, you don't really have to listen to the background noise, like, hasta con esto, like, there's been, like, I've been on a, like, downfall right now. Como quien dice, like, a lot of people are like, oh, this guy, there's no more podcasts from, like, Cantina, like, Cantina's dying. Like, no, like, I'm just planning ahead and kind of taking a step back and just reorganizing everything. I'm bringing you guys a lot more stuff. Like, I got the first Hispanic Latino Olympian here.
Thank you.
Who would have thought, you know?
Yeah.
So I like that.
Y vamos.
Ahí le vamos dando. How was it, like, ¿cómo te digo? Did you ever, like, cruzaste así nomás, or, you know what I mean?
It's actually kind of, like, I don't know if it's possible now, maybe, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Pero the lady que nos cruzó, ella tenía su deal con el agente de inmigración.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, like, crucé en carro con mi familia en una van, like, you know, caravan, typical van. But she had her deal con el agente de CBP. Entonces, cuando cruzamos la frontera, ella, pues, you know, él nos dejó pasar a todos, y ya al rato ellos arreglan y ya se mochan el dinero, you know.
Feria.
So, yeah, so it wasn't hard, like, no tuve que cruzar el desierto o el río, o, you know, como cosas muy traumatizantes como muchos de los inmigrantes que han pasado a Estados Unidos. Pero ya tuvimos, bueno, yo no, porque yo estaba morrito, 9 años, no tenía nada que ver. Pero cruzamos así como si nada. So it wasn't bad. Pero sí, it is, you know, like a cultural shock donde estás en México, y de hecho, like, me acuerdo que mi maestro de primaria, él era bien borracho y nos mandaba a la tienda a comprarle sus chelas, you know. It was like that. It was crazy. Y llegar aquí a todo bien, like, structured and, you know, like,
it's a culture shock for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, igual, like, I lived in Mexico for a couple of years, just because my mom sent us over there for a little bit.
That's cool.
And yeah, like, when I first got there, I didn't know how to take the bus. I didn't know that you had to say paren, like, right here, and, like, raise your hand. I didn't know that. I didn't know, like, where to go, like, none of that. Yeah, me fui acoplando. I didn't know how to play with canicas or trompos or resorteras. Like, I got there, I learned all that. I know how to make a kite out of a bag, bro.
Oh, yeah. I learned that
crazy.
too. That was cool. Yeah, con los palitos. Y,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. But then I came back, like, pues mi español estaba, like, fluent.
Mm-hmm.
So cuando regresé, like, I got to school and, like, it was just a very cool, like, llegué, dude, típico, like, with, la guayaba, the shirt, and my botas, my black jeans, and, like, my little sombrero. And I was like, oh, I'm not in Mexico anymore. I need to adjust.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That was, like, the thing that I'm just like, oh, man, like, I wonder if he had, like, the same thing or not. Especially around the same time that you came over, like,
yeah. What I do think is crazy. So now as an adult, I had the privilege of working for Granger High School and Esperanza Elementary as a behavioral health assistant. So helping kids with behavioral issues and special education. And so I've been able to, like, work with those schools. Y ahorita ya todos son paisas, pero cuando yo llegué, like, I was like, it was me, my friend, Tobias, Julio, and Beto, and we were like the only like couple of Mexicans, So it was crazy to see, like, now when you go to like a school, like half of them are Hispanic Latinos, so it is a crazy change, which I wish I would have grown up in this
era.
Yeah, in this era, or like maybe back then, but with the
knowledge that you have now.
Yeah, or like the amount of like brown kids.
Yeah,
it's cool.
No, yeah, I get it, because same, like, when I went to school, like, there was like, I grew up with like Americans, bro, like straight up, like, I mean,
what city?
Whitewashed, West Valley, but
okay.
like, it was like, como te diré, like, no me
the
juntaba,
new houses in West Valley or the old houses?
Like right under the water tower, bro, like in that area.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was still like, we still had
Pretty
the paletero, but we had the paletero from time to time, but like the only other Latinos that I saw were like my cousins.
Yeah.
So like, me juntaba con todos los, like, pues, a decir, like, los americanos, los gringos, and like, I would get into, like, dude, I started skateboarding.
Oh,
like,
cool.
when did you ever see, like, a Latino skateboarding back then? Like, doing all those little things that they do. And then I think 7th grade, when I got into middle school, that's when I started seeing more, like, of our people. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is different. But I would still stick to, like, the crowd that I knew until I met one of my friends. And, like, yeah, that's when I started getting more, like, I got more, my eyes open to, like, what it really was to be part of that community. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, high school, dude, quinceañeras left and right. I didn't even know what that was back then. So it was definitely something that yo puedo decir. That's why, like, when they asked me, like, oh, did you ever, like, pass through any of that? I was like, no.
Not really?
Not really, no. Like, mine was a different thing, but.
Cada quien tiene su journey,
No, you see.
And that's what makes us unique.
Yeah, so see, because, like, I get inspired with people, like, with your story. That's why I'm over here, like, I'm losing focus, because I'm like, dang, this is crazy. Like, I never thought that this was happening, like, where I'm living. Like, no me captaba eso. Like.
Yeah, y yo creo que mucha gente don't realize, y también desafortunadamente ahorita lo que tenemos que combatir es que mucha gente está poniendo información falsa o está like espantando con like malas intenciones, like just to get like more views or subscribers or whatever. Están espantando a mucha gente. Y yo creo que ahorita, like, si vemos realísticamente los números, las deportaciones de este presidente han sido casi iguales que las del último presidente. Y like, no tienen el dinero ni la capacidad para deportar a todos nosotros, pero están espantando y nosotros mismos nos estamos espantando. Y yo creo que eso causa miedo y nos afecta más como latinos. Por ejemplo, tengo un amigo que tiene un restaurante de mariscos en el Swap Me. And he doesn't really have any more people coming through to, porque la gente tiene miedo de ir a comer y que caiga la migra. Y afecta a los dueños de negocio, nos afecta a nosotros mentalmente. Entiendo que hay gente que no conoce lo que está pasando porque no hay nadie que les dé la información, pero a veces cuando la gente busca información, otra gente aprovecha para darles mala información.
Yeah.
So ahorita, todos nos estamos like asustando y todos nos estamos paniqueando, and I think that's por eso queremos hacer estos tipos de eventos y contenido, para dejarles saber a las personas que pues aquí estamos y no nos vamos, Y aparte de eso, dejarles saber que sí hay recursos y personas que están a tu lado, que no hay que dejarse llevar por lo que dice Univisión, Telemundo y estos noticieros que solamente están buscando viewerships. Y hay que hacer de nuestra parte de no asustarnos, pero dar recursos. Si nosotros nos apoyamos unos a los otros, no solamente nos vamos a poder quedar aquí, pero vamos a ser muy poderosos. Y cuando tienes el conocimiento, it's like that saying, el conocimiento es poder. Y yo he podido ganar estas batallas contra la deportación y contra el estado de Utah y contra varias cosas porque tuve el conocimiento and I did my research, I did my homework. Pero el conocimiento te da poder y eso es lo que tenemos que empezar a dar más información aparte del deporte que estoy haciendo, y eso es un sueño, eso es un sueño / hobby porque me toma mucho de mis recursos. Pero aparte de eso, pues la misión siempre ha sido la misma, en empoderar a mi comunidad latina aquí en Utah, no solamente en Utah, pero todo Estados Unidos. Y aparte de eso, pues, promover el deporte y otras cosas que nos hacen mejor como comunidad.
Sí. Para regresar al deporte, me estás diciendo que te dan like concussions y todo eso, like.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's the worst thing, or like, ¿por qué dices eso? Like, how, like, I know like que estás en la sled y like, ¿es por el impacto o cómo es un entrenamiento para ti?
Yeah.
Para prepararte.
So tengo aquí el sled, no sé si se puede ver aquí,
right there.
aquí atrás, right there you go.
There you go. Thanks, Skyler.
Yeah, thank you. So el sled pesa como 100 libras. It's pretty heavy. And then this is the helmet. And everything we have is special made. Like I can't wear like a motorcycle helmet or anything like that. So everything is specially made. We wear gloves, mouth guard. Y los shoes tienen like spikes, like clavitos. Y con esos corremos y con esos frenamos. De ahí el sled, como pueden ver, no tiene nada de frenos, like no mechanism to go or stop.
Yeah.
It's so the Olympic track is about a mile long, and we run for like a couple of seconds, maybe like 6 seconds, real fast, as fast as you can, and then you jump on, and then you hang on for your life. So the miles, it's a mile long.
How fast do you go?
Me personally, about 86, 87 miles per hour.
Dang.
And but some people have reached up to 90 miles per hour. So it's a mile long, and then we travel in 50 seconds or less. So it's pretty insane. And there's on the track of Park City, there's 15 curves. And every curve is different. Every track in the world is different. There's 15 tracks. I think 16 now. 16 tracks in the world, and they're all unique. And the one in Utah is the track with the highest elevation. So our ice is a little bit different. It changes a lot. Si está sunny, está completamente diferente. Si está like raining or snowing, or like if you slide in the mornings, it's different than if you slide at night, because the temperature is changing. And yeah, we just run for about a couple seconds, and then we jump on, and then we just hang on and hope that we make it down alive. And whoever makes it down alive twice wins the race.
Wow. Did you ever have like un momento like, damn, like aquí la puedo perder, like I'm gonna lose? Like, did you ever have any close calls?
Oh yeah, I think last competition I was a part of, the North America Cup. I went up a curve. So like imagine the curve is like a U, right?
It's
like
kind of like a water slide, no? But like,
yeah,
a
like a
lot
water
more
slide.
Skinnier. Like, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, just a water slide, and then you always have to be like in the middle of the slide, right? So even if the track goes like this, you always have to be like in the middle. And if it goes the other way, you have to be in the middle again, always in the middle. But once I went up real high, up in the wall, and then I crashed, I just like slammed down into the cement. Like I ran out of track, basically. I ran out of a curve. And then I was able to compete and do my competition and get my points because we're qualifying for the Olympics. So I was able to, like fully represent and fully finish the race. But when I got to the hospital, they were like, yeah, if you would have like hit it right after again, like forget about your tendon, like it would have been like demolished.
Dang.
You know. So and that was just like a month and a half ago. But like now I'm back on the track. And you know, it is scary. I think like imagine being like on the freeway in your car, but instead of driving, you're like
laying down
in your belly head first, and you're like inches off the road. And imagine you hit like the barricade of the freeway at 85, 87 miles per hour. So that's how it feels, you know, like it hurts. It hurts a lot, and especially like rubbing on ice. It's very painful. So I have like bruises all over me, but I think that's like, I like it.
You
you
like
know?
it,
Yeah. No que sea like masoquista, pero like, you know, it feels cool to, like, que te partas la madre, you know, it feels cool to like, to do like cool shit like that and represent your country. I think that's what makes it worth it. Just being like the only Mexican out there. I think that's the beautiful part. Obviously I want to change that, but just being around, Great Britain and Germany and the US and Canada and all these countries that are putting a lot of money into their winter sports, and being the only like Mexicano ahí con la águila, you know, con los colores lindos de nuestra bandera. It gives me that motivation to be like, hell yeah, you know, like not only could I do this, but I could bring more people into the sport.
How was the Deyvid when he's like off the track? ¿Cómo es tu día de relajado? Like, what do you do to relax after like that?
I do try to sleep like 10 hours a day. I think that's where half of my day goes. I do try to sleep a lot or take naps. Something I think that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I get a lot of nightmares. So like even though I sleep a lot, sometimes I don't rest a lot. Because I get a lot of nightmares. Like, I get at least like one nightmare a night. So that sucks. But I like to sleep a lot, and then I have 3 kids. So I like to spend time with my kids. I also do a lot of puzzles, and I like going to the movies and hanging out with these cool guys right here. And so, you know, just being part of the community and making content. So I have my own marketing business, and I also have, you know, that like having a business takes a lot of your time. Having kids takes a lot of your time. And doing competitions for your country takes a lot of your time. So I try to, you know, balance it out and divide it all out. But I think, you know, just having the right mindset. That's why I told you like being in an Olympic sport, it's a lot of mental capacity. Like I know there's people that are like taller than me, more fit than me, have fat, you know, percentage than me, like less fat percentage. There's people that have more money than me. There's people that, you know, have more resistance than me. So I'm not unique in that sense, but I'm unique because I've battled enough battles that I know I could take on more battles. You know, and then after I accomplish this dream of becoming an Olympian, then I'm going to sit down and rethink my life and see what else I can do to challenge myself, you know. Porque eso se trata la vida, de crecer, de no darte por vencido y ayudar a los demás.
Yeah. No, eso es cierto, porque a veces, like, you never know what you accomplish until, like, you kind of take a step back. And you're like, oh, crap, like, I'm doing it. I can't stop now. Like, I got to keep going. I had a little bit of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I, you know, like I'm up in the track and I'm like, I can't do this, or I get anxiety attacks sometimes. I don't take medication for it anymore, but this last couple of years, I took a lot of medication for anxiety. So having to deal with anxiety and doing a crazy sport like this,
it probably messes with you.
It's contradicting. Because doing this sport, you have to be so relaxed. If you tense up, it's kind of like on the freeway. If you're driving, you know, 60, especially 70, 80 miles per hour on the ice, on the snow, and you step on the brake, you slam on it, you freak out, you jerk the wheel. If you do any of those kind of fast movements, you're gone. You know, you're going to swerve, you're going to circle, you're going to crash. And it's the same thing for this sport. So we have to be super relaxed. We have to be kind of like mellowed and just go with the track and just, you know, feel it. And así todo like, como el chicken de serves up. Have you seen that? Yeah, I love that chicken.
Dude,
Yeah. That's how you have to be to do this sport. So if you like tense up, if you freak out, if you get panic attacks, if you think what could go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. So that's why I say like a lot of the sport it's mental. Like I haven't really done any snowboarding or skiing in any like crazy mountain range or not even never in a competition, but I imagine it's the same, like or cualquier deporte, like Formula 1 or boxing or whatever. Like if you freak out, if you think of what could go wrong, it will go wrong. So you have to be mentally prepared and challenge yourself, push yourself, but also be super relaxed and trust the process, trust God, the universe, or whatever you believe in, that it will work out, and you're accomplishing your goals for a reason. That it's not just because it's not just a hobby. Doing the Olympic sport is it could be expensive. There are season passes, which are really they work out. But if you don't have a season pass, it's kind of like skiing and snowboarding. Yeah. It's about $100 a day. So it is an expensive sport. And I understand that not a lot of immigrant families could afford $100 a day. But if you prepare ahead of time, you can get like a season pass, and it's a lot cheaper, and then you can go every single day. So I've been practicing every single day, and whenever I can, I practice in the morning and at nighttime. And that doesn't happen all the time, and sometimes it snows a lot, and they have to close the tracks, and sometimes people get injured, and there's blood on the track, and you can't do that. I've seen people like get broken ankles, broken bones, and get rushed out of the hospital, into out of the track into the hospital. So yeah, there's a lot of people like that break their fracture their bones, and your career is over. So it is pretty crazy. It is a crazy sport, but you just have to be like calmado, relajado, y trusting that process, and trusting God, and trusting your body, trusting your mind, and yeah, just kind of go through it.
Since you brought that up, I have a question for you real quick. What's your go-to song to get like hyped up?
Hyped up?
Yeah, like what is it? Let me guess. Is it Luis Enrique La Tracas?
No.
What is the song
to be honest, I try not to do that.
Oh, you don't?
No, because I try to be relaxed. I try to be... see, I know there's people that like my friends, competitors, that do, put on songs, and they're just like
the rock, metal.
Like,
let's go.
Yeah, vámonos, but I'm the opposite. Like, I try to be as relaxed as possible. I do a quick prayer before I slide. I'm like, like Jesus take the wheel, but I'm like, Jesus take the sled. Like I put on gospel music. And this one's weird, but I listen to Olivia Rodrigo.
I'm trying to remember who that is.
Olivia Rodrigo. She's like a teenage like love song type of thing.
Oh, okay. I think.
She's like a Taylor Swift. Real quick. I'm just kidding. She's like a Taylor Swift type of thing. So like, even though they're like cheesy like teenage romantic songs, they calm me down. That melody.
That's good.
So that and like gospel music, I think just like estar relajado, porque again, if I get my blood pumping before I even jump on the sled, it like fucks me up. And also like if my like this helmet, I'm gonna show you a little. So this is the helmet, and when it's like really cold in the snow,
right?
So if I'm inside and if I'm breathing really fast, it gets really fucked. Like,
and then you can't see.
And then I can't see.
Yeah.
So I try to be as relaxed as possible, have like breathing techniques, not be like, just like try to like breathing techniques that I've learned through the anxieties that I've had. So everything, kind of like circle back. So I try not to have, but when I do, like work out, like, yeah, si me pongo mis tracas,
right
like,
there, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, I love that. So, I have like different songs for different vibes, different things that we do, like in the sauna, when I go to the sauna room, I try to, be there for like half an hour to an hour. I put on like a podcast or an audiobook, or the hot tub, just relaxing, recovery, because a lot of it is recovering your body. You're slamming into walls at 80 miles per hour, and the next day you need recovery. And so like today, I was like sledding in the morning, and I just had some late lunch. And so my body's like feeling weird. And thank God I haven't had like any bad concussions, but like you do slam into, you're going head first down an Olympic track. And if you don't do the right turns at the right millisecond, you do end up banging your head, so that's why I was feeling like I hit it a little bit earlier today. So it is pretty demanding, but you also have to take care of your body. So but when it comes to the track, I try to be as mellow as possible. Like I tell like my friends and family, like, don't call me if there's a problem. I don't want to know about it.
Wait till after I'm done.
Yeah, tell me later. Like I don't even open my emails, or like
you put that on DND and just don't worry about it.
I'm like, don't call me, don't text me until after. After that, then let's get back to business. And in my day off, I try to relax, but I also having a business to take care of my own. Then I get back into that mode. But when it comes to the track, I think you have to be focused, because if I take the wrong turn, if I take the wrong position, and so the way we drive the track is, since there's no driving mechanism, if we push this way, we go that way. If we push this way, we go that way. So it's kind of like the opposite. Like if I want to go that way, I have to push this way. And then we at the end, we drive with like our knees and our toes to kind of like guide like whether we want the sled to go. So I tell people, it's like, ¿cómo va? Like cabeza, hombro, rodillas y pies. So it's like that. That's how you drive. That's how you drive an Olympic sled. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And so that's kind of like what, I try to be focused. Also what has really messed me up is, for example, there's like a curve 12 and 13 that I've had a lot of crashes, like mean crashes. And so I try not to think about that curve, because I'm not even like on curve number 1, so I have to like go curve number 1. And then when that curve comes, then it comes. But if I think about that curve, like 12, 13, when I'm barely on curve 2, 3, I'm going to have a really bad time. So, it kind of like comes back to real life situations. Like if you think about what's coming up next week, what's coming up next month, qué puede pasar con mi caso de inmigración, qué puede pasar con mi trabajo, qué puede pasar con mi hija, con mi niño, con la casa. If you think about all these problems before they even happen, you're going to have a bad time. So, I apply a lot of like real life scenarios into how I do the sport. And I think that helps me become a better athlete.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. I like that because I do the same thing. Just take things day by day.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, but I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
And I always do this every podcast. I feel like I'm getting known for this stuff.
Okay, cool.
So,
all right.
Te vas a preguntar.
Nervous. All right.
No, take your time.
Oh, it's not those like fast ones?
No.
Okay.
Take your time with it. Really think about it. But it's a twofer. So ahí te va the first one.
Okay.
So
Chido.
We'll leave that one for this last. What would you tell your younger self, like younger Deyvid Morales?
Claro que se puede. I think whatever I wanted to accomplish, si yo pudiera la oportunidad de time travel and see my little me, claro que se puede. Yo creo que tener esa mentalidad desde morrito te hace una persona imparable. Te puede, todo es en tu mentalidad, pero ha habido muchas veces donde yo mismo me pongo miedo, yo mismo me pongo esa ansiedad, yo mismo me digo que no, yo mismo me niego oportunidades de ya sea conocer a gente o de viajar o de tener oportunidades. You know how we were talking about, you're the only one that's stopping you. So I think if I could tell myself, like no hagas eso, una cachetada primero, and then no hagas eso, and then say, claro que se puede. Whatever you set your mind to do, claro que se puede. And that's always been my goal, and And that's what I always tell myself, whether I'm, like running my business or being with my kids or doing this Olympic sport or fighting a deportation case or fighting a lawsuit, whatever it is that I set my mind to, and now I tell myself, claro que se puede.
That's good. I like that.
Thank
I
you.
like that a lot. Now my second one and the final one.
Okay.
And then this is like the one where I get a lot of people, like they get a little shocked.
Okay.
But who is Deyvid Morales today?
Deyvid Morales today is an activista que pelea por su comunidad. Es un atleta que trabaja para representar a México y es un buen papá.
Nice. That's perfect, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of times where I ask that question and people are just like, I had someone tear up because of that question.
Yeah, it is a very deep question. I think I could go in deeper.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you spend a lot of time by yourself, you get to know yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people don't do, is that you always have to have someone with you.
Mm-hmm.
You always jumping from relationship to relationship or having bad friendships just to have friendships,
Mm-hmm.
or talking to people online just because you don't want to feel lonely. But I love being by myself. Like I like if I could spend days and not talk to anybody, like the monks.
day.
Oh, that's perfect for me. So, like I love spending time with myself, thinking, like traveling, being in a cold mountain. Like not a lot of people go cheer me up. Like it's not like a fútbol donde la gente te va a mirar 90 minutos. It's a very cold, icy mountain, and not a lot of people come see us do our sport. Which is bad, and I want to encourage people to come see us because we really need more visibility, and that way we get more sponsorships and we help more people, and we do everything circles back around. But I love spending time with myself, and when you spend time with yourself, you get to know yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, and you get to know what you like, your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
Yo me celebro solo, like no es que sea un like come solo, but like
I get you.
Like I love going to the movies by myself, like taking trips by myself, getting to know myself and seeing what, like how I could become a better person each day. I think that's what we need to do more.
Yeah. That's question came because of that. Because I always ask myself, like, who am I today? I'm like, I wonder if anybody else asks themselves that. Yes,
I ask myself a lot that question. Yeah.
So like,
And it changes from time to time, like sometimes I'm this person and sometimes I'm this person. But I think if at the end of the day we analyze our day, we become better tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's all we're going for, to be a better tomorrow, be the better than
version.
we were. Yeah. Always strive for the best.
Yeah.
Because you can do it. Like, anything is possible.
Claro que se puede.
Claro que se puede. I'm going to start saying that now.
Yeah.
Claro que se puede. Where can they find you, Deyvid?
So anywhere where books are sold. So I spell my name a little bit different. It's
I know, I saw that and I was like, I don't want to butcher it. And I was like, Deyvid?
No, it's the same. Just Deyvid Morales. But I spell it different. It's Deyvid and then Morales. Deyvid Morales. You'll find me somewhere, everywhere. And then you can, follow me, follow my journey, making it to the Olympics. And not only that, but bringing resources for the community, seeing how we can help out. Y que no estás solo, que puedes. I reached out to an Olympian, and that Olympian helped me get to where I am today. If you want to try out the sport or any other winter sport, I really am, like getting people, like a list of people that want to do this sport and that sport and that sport, and seeing how I can help them out. So reach out.
Because all the doors could be closed, but all you got to do is knock.
Yeah.
Just knock.
That's all it takes.
Don't get tired of knocking. That's all it takes. Just knock on the door. You never know what door's going to answer.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this has been Tony, your host at the most, or Tony La Torta, as it says on my sweater. We're back. We're going to bring you guys more videos. Sorry about that delay, but we're going to get to it again. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.